Howdy, I'm Zany the Senator, and today I am going to talk about basically the beginning of me making games. Yep. Now, some that you the webcam caught the cat. The webcam caught the cat. Sorry, I've never used this webcam before, so sorry. Anyways, as you know, I started making games in 2000. I think it was 2013. It was early in 2013. Basically, I was inspired by a game for making games in general. A game called, what's it called? Oh yeah, it's a game based off a Warrior Cast somebody made for RPG Maker XP or something like that. Yeah, apparently that inspired me to make games. I'm like, that looks like a game anyone could make. And I thought it was made of something called RPG. I didn't pay attention to what it was made with at the time, though, so that's a bit later. Anyway, I was thinking in my mind, like, man, I wish I could find a program that could help me make RPGs like that, so I looked around. And eventually, I did find RPG Maker once through the website. I'm like, what is this? And then I realized, oh wait, it's the easiest one to use. Then I realized that I was going like, how am I going to make something based off of my stories with this? This thing doesn't know how to make, this thing can't make custom cat sprites. And then I realized, oh wait, I know, I have a wonderful idea. You know what it was? It was to actually edit the cat sprites myself. But that does not have to do my first game at all. As you see, the first game was a game called The Zapion's Light. Basically, the game started all human, just like Legend of Beauty, except because of some things I didn't know it, because of some limitations, and I just didn't know how to do some of the stuff with it. Zapion's Light was actually quite a bit different from Legend of Beauty. Legend of Beauty is my first story ever. What a coincidence that my first game ever is based off my first story ever. But there's a difference. My first story was made 2009. 2009! What's wrong with me? Anyways. So of course, I named myself Zane, and I'm like, maybe I should change the name up for the other characters, so I named Shelby Light. I kept Amber's name the same. I changed Linda's name to Rose. I changed Mom's name to Shadow. Wasn't it? Oh yeah, I changed Donnie's name to Bruce. I think Mark's name stayed the same, and so did Tom's. Firefly and Snake's name stayed the same, so did Ian's. Though I didn't straight up call him what he was based off of, though, so there's the difference. Of course, because of limitations, I can only make it so there's 20 screens, because at the time I only had the light version. So, what I decided to do to make up for that was basically, I had just a little boss rush in one of the tiles. It's like, yeah. That's how I made up for the fact there's only 20 things. I'm like, oh man, I can't make the Cat Kingdom any bigger? Man. So, yep, the Cat Kingdom had to be smaller. Now, of course, at the time, Sam and all the other cats were just white cats. Actually, no, they weren't. There wasn't even flashbacks to the originals. These Zapion's Light. Flashbacks didn't come until like the What was it? What is it called? Is it? It's sort of a remake. It's called Newsies Apion's Late, which I think that one was released in 2014. Yep. Anyways, there are more games that arose from this. The one that made me learn that I found out how to edit cat sprites, well, made me figure out, was the Super Sam trilogy. Those are all made with Light. That's why there's 3 of them. The first game, of course, just Sam, Avril, Mark. Later on, I added some more characters in later updates. Super Sam Part 2, just yeah, just that. There's not much to say besides I edited some cat sprites, but then sometime between probably some of the Super Sam parts, I decided to make a game. Basically, the idea was I create something for the game, my dad creates something for the game, my mom creates something for the game, and my brother Donnie, or Munchkin Slapper, creates something for the game. And, well, it's been, like, there is no, this is just like this is just like, it could be anything. This makes it wonderful. So, first, I gave it to Dad. He created something. A bat named Lojo. And he said, yeah, an idea for the game is to make it so you have to fight killer cows from outer space. You know what game I'm talking about now, don't you? Then I gave it to my brother. He created a monkey. He created a character named Dirdio, and it said race a Mexican, and then but he said if the picture said a monkey. Actually, I think it said a pink Mexican, and he used. I thought it said judo whip. I think it's supposed to say Judy whip, but whatever. Yep, there's a typo in the game, and it states judo whip instead of Judy whip. So, yay. I have no idea what a Judy whip is. So, but anyways, that's where Dirdio came from. He also came with the idea that there should be pink Mexican monkeys in the game. Then I created some. I decided the name of the land shall be called Derplandia. And there should be a character who's a horse, because I decided, because there's already a horse, it's going to be really easy to make the sprite for, so, yep, that's why it's a horse. And I named it Mr. Hoofman. Yep, one of the most generic names I could think of for a horse. Mr. Hoofman. And my idea was to make him a really angry horse. And then the last one that was created, that was Mom's idea, was to create a character named Flame. That's it. She created Flame. It doesn't get any more simple. You just created Flame. Hell on fire! As the Dude Man would say. Man, who would have known my mom created the Dude Man's favorite character? Anyways. Yep, that's how Attack the Killer Space Cows came to be. Of course, I did make the game. I added a little thing, the super team, just to, put it in there. I don't know. That one was actually made with VX Ace Lite. Now, one time, my brother got me RPG Maker VX Ace full version. It was sometime in October of I think it was October 2013. And I'm like, thank you, Donnie. And you know what I did? I made a game, except this is a game I always wanted to make. And it's called Wilbur the Game. Now, believe it or not, this would be the first game I'd ever released to the internet. You may or may not have known this, but Wilbur the Game is actually the first game ever released to the internet. Not Attack of the Killer Space Cows, not Zapion's Light, but Wilbur the Game. This is like an old version of Wilbur the Game, so it didn't look that great. It was pretty buggy, but some of the enemies had white backgrounds on them. So, but hey, it was progress. This is actually a significantly big game for what I was making at the time. I didn't mention Dark Omega's Wrath, but that's an interesting little thing, isn't it? There's not much to say about that. It's pretty much the same category as the Crystals of Zapion. You may or may not have heard of that one as well. Same deal, just like, you know, a little game based off of my stories, but not completely based off of my stories. So, like, there was a little bit of originality in there somewhere. That's where Bob and Baghead came from. They were not introduced in my stories, they were introduced in my games. Dark Omega's Wrath, specifically. Anyways, with VX Ace, I did continue to make games. Eventually, I did make a Game Jolt account. That's where I released Zapion's Light and Attack of the Killer Space Cows. One did significantly better than the other. Gee, I wonder why. Considering the complete garbage that Zapion's Light was. Anyways, so I decided, man, a lot of people don't like Zapion's Light, and I realized, oh wait, it's trash, that's why. So, you know what I decided to do? I decided to try to remake it. Basically, but here's my mistake. Basically, all I did was remove the white backgrounds from the character, make the maps look a little bit better, make the battle backs look a little bit better, and add a few more small details. It didn't work. People still thought it was trash. And it still was trash. I guess that game was beyond saving, wasn't it? Yep, Zapion's Light, just a flop in itself. I think Zane the Weird Topaz, the game, was released, and I think the newest version doesn't work very well. Like, it literally just doesn't work. Sorry if you're gonna be Let's Playing that game, but you need to wait for a bug fix. Whenever I decide to make the bug fix. Anyways. I did create a sequel to Zapion's Light, called Zapion's Light 2. It did not get good ratings. To be honest, it may not have looked like complete trash, but it was a bit boring in my opinion. But I went like, oh well, it was actually based off of a story that I've lost for a long time. It's finished before Legend of Beauty, but takes place after Legend of Beauty, called Meteor Zane. I always thought it was Meteor Zane, but no, it's Meteor Zane. Just meter. A meteor, meter. M-E-T-O-R. That's how you spell it. Meter. Man, what in the universe? Anyways. What was it? I'm about to say. Oh yeah, that's also that introduced Antonio. Wait, did I introduce Antonio? Did I make that first or T-Poi first? I probably made T-Poi first. Wait, no I didn't. No, Zapion's Light 2 was created first. Actually, I'm going to have to look that up later. Anyways. Later on, I did make T-Poi, my most popular game. Well, maybe not most popular game. I don't know which one's more popular. T-Poi or Attack of Killer Space Cows. I call it T-Poi. It's not actually called T-Poi, but I just call it that because I found out later on after I made the game and released it to Game Jolt that there's a book with the same name as the game. It's called The Place of Insanity. I just hope the person who made the book doesn't find out about it. Or else he's gonna sue my pants off. Wait, what? That sounded weird. Anyways. So anything else I need to say? Oh yeah, Trials of Meepa. Trials of Meepa, that was just a crazy idea. I'm like, because I make so many games based off of cats, why don't I make some based off of dogs to not offend dog lovers? Well, that was my attempt. And some people hated it. Somebody insulted me saying that, did that 10-year-old make this game? Some guy called Hunting Swan or something like that. Some guy on Twitch. And I never was a big fan of that website. But yeah, he pretty much insulted my game. Well, no, he didn't insult my game. He insulted me. He insulted me, saying that was I some sort of 10-year-old? I actually made the game when I was 13. Oh, look at that on the computer. It shows a picture of it. That's funny. Get out of here, AVG. Get out of here. Get out of here. Bye. Thanks, dumb AVG. Anyways. What was I saying? Okay. Yeah, that's all I need to say about Trials of Meepa, huh? Not even gonna mention. I shouldn't even mention Sam the Prince, because that's barely released on the internet at all, seriously. Let's see, what's a good thing to mention next? Well, I can say that some of those games got sequels, some got updated. Yeah. Oh, there were a couple of experiments I can talk about. The first experiment was called the Earthling Hating Momuians. Instead of making the game with RPG Maker VX Ace, I decided to make it with RPG Maker XP. Because I went like, oh, this thing looks cool. And, well, I got it. So, I decided to make a game based off of 4 cats named that are, of course, they're Momuians. The characters' names are Bruce, Fireball, Ultra, and Lime. And it's just some dumb game about them trying to defeat Orange or something like that. I was trying to just see how it'd go, and people just, nobody noticed it. Except one who like, what is this game? I'm out of here. He said a curse word in there, but I don't want to repeat what that guy said, because that would be cursing, and I don't like cursing. Anyways, oh yeah, the other experiment. The other experiment I call the Samathunzi Zappion. Oh wait, I didn't tell you about Samathunzi Zappion. Okay. Samathunzi Zappion experiment, basically. I decided to remake it with RPG Maker MV. But first, the original was made in VX Ace. I used some Theo Allen music, which did not transfer to MV because they were MIDI files. Dumb MIDI files. Anyways, yeah, the MIDI files did not transfer, so I had to use the music that it provided. In that experiment, well, it looked a bit better graphically, but I wouldn't say but I don't think it had better music. Of course, you can be the judge of that. You can play it on Game Chart or whatever. But I think the original had better music. Then again, that didn't have RTP music. That had music from Theo Allen. Anyways, yeah, that's that experiment that happened. So, oh yeah, ever heard of the RPG Maker Network website? Yeah. I'm gonna tell you right now why I post a game, Joel. They reject every game that I make. So you know what? Forget them. Forget them. Just now I don't even want to talk about them anymore. Anyways, that's all there really is to say. So this is the War Boy 111, and I say